Hey there. So there's a lot of things going on in our country, and it reminded me of Jesus. It reminded me of the challenges that he faced when he made a decision to heal people on the Sabbath because he cared about their well-being. He cared about doing good. And so I just want to share a couple stories because he didn't do this once, he didn't do this twice, he did it multiple times. But let's look at the story in Luke 13 where Jesus healed a crippled woman. And it starts in verse 10. It says, "On the Sabbath, Jesus was teaching in one of the synagogues. And a woman was there who had been crippled by a spirit for 18 years. She was bent over and could not straighten up at all. When Jesus saw her, he called her forward and said to her, 'Woman, you are set free from your infirmity.' Then he put his hand on her, and immediately she straightened up and praised God. Indignant because Jesus had healed on the Sabbath, the synagogue ruler said to the people, 'There are 6 days for work, so come and be healed on those days, not on the Sabbath.' The Lord answered him, 'You hypocrites! Doesn't each of you on the Sabbath untie his ox or donkey from the stall and lead it out to give it water? Then should not this woman, a daughter of Abraham, whom Satan has kept bound for 18 long years, be set free on the Sabbath day from what bound her?' When he said this, all his opponents were humiliated, but the people were delighted with all the wonderful things he was doing." And like I said, this wasn't the first time or the only time, so I want to show you one more passage where Jesus defied the traditions and the rules to care more for people. And it says in Mark 3, "Another time, he went off into the synagogue, and a man with a shriveled hand was there. Some of them were looking for a reason to accuse Jesus. So they watched him closely to see if he would heal him on the Sabbath. Jesus said to the man with a shriveled hand, 'Stand up in front of everyone.' Then Jesus asked them, 'Which is lawful on the Sabbath? To do good or to do evil? To save or to kill?' But they remained silent. He looked around at them in anger and deeply distressed at their stubborn hearts, said to the man, 'Stretch out your hand.' He stretched it out, and his hand was completely restored. Then the Pharisees went out and began to plot with the Herodians how they might kill Jesus." So what I'm looking at is Jesus loved his Father. He loved God. He did not seek to disrespect the Pharisees. He did not seek to dishonor the legacy from which the Sabbath was established. So if we look back into the scriptures and into the Ten Commandments, the Sabbath was established because God was like, "Look, remember, I have brought you out of Egypt, out of a land of slavery where you had to work 7 days a week. So I'm going to ask you, or command you rather, to rest on the 6th day so that you remember," right? So this is almost this, this memorial and this reliance on God and not having to work all the time. And so Jesus, when he healed on the Sabbath, he wasn't like, "Oh, I'm spitting in the face of this mass exodus, this rescuing of all of God's people out of the hands of the Egyptians." He was not trying to dishonor or to disrespect, but he was saying, you know what, there's an issue here. There's an issue with your traditions and the way that you have implemented this law, right? The spirit of this is missing. And he even challenged them. He was like, "Don't you take care of your animals and lead them to drink on the Sabbath, right? Because they have a need." And he's like, "Look, this woman has been in bondage to Satan for 18 long years. And no, I am not going to wait until tomorrow to heal her when I can heal her today. Just because it's the Sabbath and we want to honor our traditions and our history and our legacy." He wasn't legalistic. And he looked at the traditions and said, "You know what? I'm not going to make an idol out of this tradition. And I'm going to meet the needs of people because I care for people and because I love people. The same thing with the man who had the wrinkled hand. He was distressed at the stubbornness of their hearts. We have a heart issue here in this country. And sometimes we look at our traditions and we replace, we take pride in our traditions and in this kind of legacy over and above the value of the lives that that tradition represents, the lives of the people who are living today. There are no lives that are more important than other people's lives. And right now in this country, we have people who are being unjustly and unrighteously killed, who are being oppressed and held in bondage by Satan and his schemes. And sometimes we have to do things that are going to ruffle people's feathers. The Pharisees weren't very pleased with Jesus and the decision that he made, but it had to be made regardless. So I would like you to be thinking about that, to be thinking about, are there traditions? Are there symbols? Is there idolatry that perhaps you are giving more weight to than to the lives of the people, to the issues that are happening here right now? And think, what would Jesus do? All right, guys, have a great day.